Hello everyone, and welcome back to Aussie ATPLs. Today we'll be diving into CASA ATPL flight planning. In today's lesson we'll be taking a look at a step climb question, similar to one you would find in the exam. We'll go through the working process and any traps or tricks to watch out for along the way. Before we get into it, if you're currently studying ATPL flight planning or any ATPL exam and are looking for some extra support, I've created a free Aussie ATPLs community where you'll get access to free practice exams, revision material and discussions with other students. Private one-on-one tutoring is available, although numbers are extremely limited. If any of that interests you, the links are in the description below, so join the community today. This is our standard step climb question. They're worth 2 marks or 4% of your total exam. We got our route here, Alice Springs to Perth via Quebec 41. We have a position report where we're overhead Ayers Rock. We have our flight level, max schedule, our gross weight, ISO deviation, and our spot wind at the time. That will be very helpful for our calculations. So assuming the conditions remain unchanged, what distance past that position fix can a step climb to the next available level begin, where conditions are reported to be ISO +5 and you will cruise at a max schedule of 0.8. Depending on where you're at in your studies, feel free to either pause this now and complete the question yourself, and you can work through the answer afterwards to see how you went. If you're just starting your studies, then feel free to just work along with us, but definitely take a photo of the question as you'll have to refer back to it as we go through our working. So our first step here is to open our ERC High 3 chart. This is where we'll find our route Alice Springs to Perth. I've only cut off a section of it here as this is all we'll be needing for the question. So I've highlighted our route here in yellow. This is from Alice Springs to Perth via Ayers Rock, which is now circled in red. This is our position fix on the way to Perth and where we'll start all our calculations from to find the position of our step climb. This is how I suggest laying out your working for a question like this. It gives you a visual representation of the plane's flight path and helps you stay on track with each step along the way and maintain that accuracy which you'll need in the long flight planning exam. Our goal here is to find the distance between Ayers Rock and our start of climb. To do that, we must find our new flight level they're going to be climbing to and our gross weight limit for this new flight level and the max schedule that we're going to be adopting. During the climb, CASA state that we'll burn 50 kilos per 1,000 feet during a step climb, and that we do not need to account for any distance in the climb. We simply reach the gross weight we need to, and then remove the climb fuel, and we are at the new flight level. To get all these details, we have to do one simple cruise calculation. This type of question is very simple. It shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes in the exam. For educational purposes, I'll take my time and explain each step, but the key to the flight planning exam is about accuracy and speed, and this is one where you can save a lot of time if you know what you're doing. Now, to know which flight level we should climb to first, we must understand what a non-RVSM flight level is. You will only use these in your flight planning exam. You can see I've got a list of them here in order from flight level 290 to flight level 410. Half of these are easterly flight levels and half of these are westerly flight levels. So make sure you use the correct one depending if you're going east or west. So since we're already at flight level 310, our next flight level will be flight level 350 as we skip 330 as that's a easterly flight level and we're heading west. Now that we have our flight level, we must find what weight we must reduce our gross weight to the point where we'll be able to reach flight level 350 at the new required max schedule of 0.80 and ISA deviation of +5. To do this, we head to page 2-14 of the Boeing 727 handbook and check out table 2.5. I've got an extract over here so you can have a look. If we enter the table with our details, flight level 350, max 0.8 and ISA +5, we'll get a gross weight thrust limit of 69,200 kilos. This is what we must reduce our gross weight to before we reach flight level 350. Now that we've found that we're going to be climbing to flight level 350 and we have a gross weight thrust limit of 69,200 kilos, we can now find our start of climb gross weight. This is the gross weight that we need to decrease down to be able to start the climb up to flight level 350. To find this weight, we take our 4,000 foot difference between flight level 310 and 350. 50 kilos per 1,000 feet gives us 200 kilos. 69,200 minus 200 kilos gives us, oh, sorry, plus 200 kilos. That's a trap you need to watch out for as well. Make sure you add this on, as we'll be burning the 200 kilos in the climb. So the weight that we need to get to is 69,400 kilos. Then find out how much fuel we need to burn to get down to this gross weight. So to do that, we're going to do a cruise calculation from overhead Ayers Rock until we reach the gross weight of 69,400 kilos. To know how much fuel we need to burn to get down to our gross weight of 69,400 kilos, we take our start of zone gross weight here of 76,400 and take away 69,400 gives us 7,000 kilos. That's how much fuel we have to burn during our cruise between Ayers Rock and the start of the climb to get down to our required gross weight to begin the climb. The first step of any cruise calculation is to find our wind component and ISA deviations. So we were given spot conditions in our question. We put those in here. We got a wind of 260 degrees magnetic at 71 knots, ISA plus 10. So if you get our average track of 233 degrees magnetic, you can find this on your High 3 chart and put that into your whiz wheel with the wind, and we get a headwind of 57 knots. Now, if we use our ISA deviation of plus 10, we need to round this to the nearest 3 degrees, so we'll be using plus 9 degrees of ISA for our cruise calculation. Now, first thing we have to do with all cruise zone calculations is find our estimated mid-zone weight. To do that, we take our start of zone gross weight and our end of zone gross weight, add them together, divide it by 2, and that will give us 72,900 kilos. Make sure to round this to 73 tons to enter into our graph on page 3-103 of the Boeing 727 handbook. Make sure you read from flight level 310 and check to make sure it's Mach 0.84. If you get the fuel flow figures from here, you'll get, make sure you interpolate between 74 and 72 tons for the 73 tons that we need, and you'll get a fuel burn per hour of 4,858.5 kilos. Now we need to make sure we adjust this for an ISA deviation of plus 9, which is plus 3 degrees. For every 3 degrees, it's plus 1%. If we do that here, we get 5,004 kilograms per hour of fuel burn. Now next we also have to find our ground speed. So first we must find our TAS. You can do this on your whiz wheel. However, I like to use a speed of sound formula, which is what I've used here, and that'll give you a TAS of 501 knots. Take away our tail headwind of 57 knots, and that'll give us 444 knots of ground speed. If you want more information on the speed of sound formula or any calculations like that, feel free to head to the description, click the link down below, join the community, and there's some more information in the community about the speed of sound formula. And you can ask any questions you need to know. Now we're on to the final stretch of our question now. So we have a required fuel burn of 7,000 kilos, and we are going to burn 5,004 kilos per hour. So if we get the relationship between these, 7,000 divided by 5,004 is 1.3988 hours. So we've got a ground speed of 444 knots. Obviously, times these by each other, and we get a total distance of 621 nautical miles. This is the distance past our position at Ayers Rock, at which we can start the climb up to flight level 350. Now, if we head back to our planning page here, we can now enter our answer of 621 nautical miles. This is the distance at which the gross weight of the aircraft will reduce enough to be able to step climb to flight level 350, which is the next hemispherical non-RVSM flight level, which we can take up, and our new max schedule and new ISA conditions. That's the end of today's video though. If you're after any extra exam prep, however, or want some practice exams you can go through, just hit the link in the description below, join the Aussie ATPLs community, it's all in there. You can ask questions to other students or people that have already sat the exams. Also let me know in the comments below what topics you want me to cover next. But thanks for watching and good luck in your exams and see you in the next one.